Hola amigos! Are you tired of grading? Do you hate grading as much as I do? Well, in today's video, I want to share with you different ideas to save you time grading. And if that sounds interesting to you, just stick around. So, when I was a first year teacher, I had a mentor teacher that graded all of her work on one day of the week. So I thought that was the greatest idea. So in the first full week of school, I had students doing worksheet after worksheet after worksheet, and I had them staple them all together. I printed out a sheet that said what order they were supposed to be in. They turned it in, and in that year, I probably had 180 students. So on that Friday afternoon, I went home with a stack of work to grade, and I literally cried. I thought, how can I live this way? How can I ever have a life if I have to come home and grade like this every single weekend? Well, over the years, I have learned ways to save time grading so that I don't get into that position anymore. Yes, there are times where I have to spend a weekend grading a project, but for the most part, I can get my grading done with maybe 30 minutes before school or after school, but it doesn't cost me all of my free time. So I'm going to share those ideas with you. Idea number one I discovered in 2020, and I'm going to put a picture up here, is Google Forms. Instead of doing worksheets that I have to grade by hand, a lot of times I'll do Google Forms worksheets. It's graded itself, so all I have to do is input the grades. That has saved me so much time. And the great thing about it, especially in these years after 2020 that I've discovered, is it gives students a chance to do it over and over again because it automatically grades it. I'm not having to grade the assignment 5 or 6 times. If it takes them 5 or 6 times of attempting it, that is just more practice for them. So Google Forms is a great way to save time. Idea number 2 is to use exit tickets. What I used to do when I first started teaching in those first few years, I would teach a topic and then I would have students do a 25 question worksheet right afterwards, or I would have them write a paragraph and they would turn it in the next day and I would have to read it. But what I have learned that works much better, it's better for the students because they get the process, it's just simply an exit ticket. I don't even make anything formal. Sometimes I use the back of an old paper and cut it in quarters and they grab it as they come in the door. When the lesson is finished, I ask them to give me some feedback. Okay, what do you understand? What do you not understand? And give me 2 examples of using whatever the grammar topic or whatever the lesson was about in sentence form. I can literally, and this is what I do, from the last class as they're leaving, they hand them to me as they leave the door. As the next class is coming in, I'm reading through them. It is simple input. Sometimes I take a grade on it, sometimes I don't. But it gives me the feedback I need immediately without me having to grade an entire paragraph for 150 to 180 students. So try an exit ticket. It gives you the information you need. If I have to redo a lesson, I'll know just by reading their exit ticket. Did they get it? Did they not? Do I need to reteach it? Do I not? Way number 3 that I have saved myself so much time grading is actually doing more speaking activities and speaking quizzes in classes. One is I love speaking quizzes. I discovered these. At first I was scared to do them because I was concerned that the rest of the class would just go crazy. But what I came up with is it is one of the few days my students are allowed to have their earbuds in listening to music. That way they're not listening to the person that is taking the test. They're not listening to me. They're getting that privilege to listen to their music, which they love. So what I do is pull students back. I usually have some type of basket that they draw questions or they draw pictures out of and we discuss it, or I'll ask them direct questions. It's an easy way and you're just listening. You're not having to sit and write and grade. I love them because it's interaction with my students that I don't typically get. Also, speaking activities. I have made little cards that have questions on them and the answers on the back. And I have the students quiz each other. If they get it wrong, the student tutors the other one what the right answer was. So I'm not having to grade a bunch, but they're still getting the practice that they need. And one, they're getting the practice that they need that normally would be in a written form, but they're getting that social interaction. They're also getting to speak, which is one of the things in a classroom setting that sometimes you just don't get to. So try some speaking activities and some speaking quizzes. So the fourth way that I save time grading is through online activities. So I'm going to give you some ideas of things that I use in class for students to practice that aren't necessarily worksheets that I have to grade. So my number one way is Quizlet. So I have the Quizlet that you paid for, but it has been an amazing way for me to get students to practice their vocabulary. So here at the school I'm at, we have virtual Fridays where teachers have professional development. Students do work at home. Quizlet is one of the things that I have them do. I introduce the vocab on those Fridays, so they write down the vocab off of the Quizlet list. And then on the paid side, it shows each student that has signed up for your class, and it shows the activities they've done. I tell my students, do 3 out of 4 activities for your virtual Friday grade, and bam, they've practiced. All I have to do is look at a screen to see what they've done, and I don't have to grade because the computer grades it for me. Another thing that I use with technology is, this is one that the students, they absolutely love it, is Book It. If you have never played Book It in your class, your students are going to absolutely love it. So all I do is I take my Quizlet stacks, and you can convert them easily over into a Book It. Is nothing you have to do by hand. It just populates from whatever your vocabulary was. You can look me up, Singing Senorita. I've got a whole Quizlet list, a whole Book It set of every vocab you can think of. So that's another way that we practice vocab in class, where I don't have to grade, but they're still practicing. Another way is, of course, if you have an online platform, which most schools do at this moment, you can do your tests and quizzes on that online platform. And our schools, the ones that I've worked with, they have a monitoring system, so students can't pull out of that. Sometimes they'll have a lockdown browser where it will keep the students within that test. So it's a great way to save time, is not having to hand grade your tests, doing them online. So those are the different ways that I've used technology to save myself time grading. And the fifth and final way that I have found to save time grading is by using mini assessments. So what I learned through the years is, when I first started teaching, I would teach the grammar, teach the vocabulary, we do worksheets, we do practices, and then I'd give them a test, and then I find out, oh my goodness, they never learned to do this part of the grammar. So what I came up with are just little mini quizzes. So I would give them the mini quiz with only 10 questions. I'm not waiting till the test to figure out what they know. It's just a little tiny quiz. Only need 10 questions to see if you know how to conjugate present tense verbs. And so what I did is I made 4 different versions, so students couldn't cheat off of each other. That's honestly why I did the 4 different versions, because I found they would look on each other's paper, and I didn't like that, so I fooled them. But you can also use it for reteach. So if students didn't pass this one, I would bring them in for tutoring. They would do a second one where I walked them through it, and then I'd give them another one as their retest. So they're just handy. Now, some people wouldn't use them for quizzes. They would actually use them for an exit ticket, which we talked about those. Those are short and easy. You could use them just as practice, like maybe the lesson took most of the class period, so you use the last 5 minutes for them to just practice what they found out. You can use it for in the middle of a lesson. Maybe you taught a portion of it. Let's see if they understand that before I move on to something else. You can use them as a warm-up, and they pick it up when they come in the class and work through it, maybe as a review for the day before the lesson. They're just handy little things that you can use for all different sorts of activities. Most of these are on verbs that I have made, but it's an idea that you can make some of your own. Instead of making 25 questions like I used to do, 10 will do. And honestly, I can grade 2 classes in a lunch break. Sorry, I don't usually just eat. I eat and grade. I don't know about you. leave me a note in the comments if you grade and eat. Teacher thing. All right, so that is my last and final idea. I hope that these ideas have helped you. I hope that you have never been in that position where you're crying because you had to grade. It is not my favorite part, so if I work on anything in teaching to save time on, it is grading. Love the planning, favorite part. Grading, not so much. So I hope that you found some ideas to help you. I hope you have an awesome week and happy teaching. Adios.